Hello everybody, I'm Kate and I'm going to break down our Unit 3 materials to accompany the writing revolution. Now Unit 3 combines Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 from the writing revolution, and I'm going to share with you some of these materials. All right, so I'm going to start right here. So it's one unit. We call it Unit 3, but it's for Chapters 3 and 4 of the Writing Revolution. And with like all of our materials, our accompanying materials, we break it down by weekly objective for you. Bear in mind, these lessons are written to accompany the book. We always want you to buy the actual Writing Revolution book because it's amazing. These mini lessons are written in a way to help you introduce a concept, give a little bit of practice, guided practice, and then our goal is that you spend the rest of your writing block using content that you're teaching with your students to push those writing skills and practice that writing skill. So we designed this to be 10 to 15-minute mini lessons, short, sweet, concise, to the point. These are also really friendly for parents to use with their kiddos if you are doing some sort of like micro school or homeschooling or pod school this year. These are great materials because it gives you a scope and sequence of skills, and it gives you hands-on materials and a lesson, and then you can just dig deep into the content that you are using with your kiddos and apply that content to their writing. So for this unit, it's all about, back to this one, the rationale behind planning and the single paragraph outline. So the first several weeks are all about like, why is it so hard to write? What executive functions do we even use when we write? And once we kind of prove to kids like, oh my gosh, writing is a very complex process that's requiring lots of executive functions to be working together at the same time, once we convince kids of that, then it makes it easier to really encourage them to plan well before they write. So you can see week 1, it's going to be able to identify what executive functions are used, how to prepare for the planning process, understanding the different types of sentences and paragraphs that we use in our writing. And then we dive into the single paragraph outline. And then after we introduce the single paragraph outline, this is an outline, a template that the Writing Revolution has distributed, so it is their work. We just kind of explain how we introduce this to kids, and then how we break it, how we chunk it to make it really, really manageable. And then we do a lot of cycling back to some of the sentence strategies that were introduced in the first 2 units to give kids that repetitive practice, that multiple exposure. Again, remember, kiddos with dyslexia or other learning-based differences, literacy-based differences, need anywhere from 30 to 100 times as many exposures to a concept in order for that concept to stick. So we really need to get that multiple exposure opportunity in place, and this does that for you. So these are the student materials, meaning, so like let's say you're on week 1, you click on day 1 of week 1. And it will pop you down to day 1. It reiterates the objective. It gives students exactly their directions. And then if there are any materials that go with this lesson, which here there are, executive functions, we provide those materials so that you do not have to make those yourself. Okay, this saves you lots of time. Kelsey Coca is the contributor who designed all the student materials. She gives directions on how to use them. It is very, very, very user-friendly. And then you dive into day 2. The teacher directions look a little bit different. These are literally scripted for you. So same objective. Here's the objective. Day 1, 10 minutes, teacher directions, and we dive in. You can just read this off the page if you want to, or obviously if you're a more experienced educator, or you just want a starting point but you want to make it your own and make it super individualized to your child, that's amazing. And there's plenty of ways for you to either stretch it and extend it, or accommodate it to make it more accessible to students who might be struggling. So we give you the script right here, and then it dives into the student directions, which says see student packet. So it's you'll want to print out both if you're using these in person, or have both up on your screen if you're using these digitally, to make sure you can easily go back and forth. So a deep dive in this unit, a deep dive into all the executive functions that are used for the writing process, why it's so important to plan, and how to plan in a way that doesn't feel overwhelming. And then an introduction to the single paragraph outline, which is one thing with writing templates. This is a little nugget for you here at the end. We really encourage you to use a small tool belt of writing graphic organizers. It's a very common accommodation that will kind of quickly get thrown at your child, but if your child has lots of different templates or lots of different graphic organizers, sometimes it can be really difficult for them to use it independently. So what I like to do is expose kiddos, especially once I've gotten to know the child and know maybe a little bit how they like to brainstorm, Do they like lots of structure? Do they like looser structure for them to be able to create a system that works for them? Providing students definitely multiple tools, not just one graphic organizer, but a small intentional tool belt, especially around writing graphic organizers, so that kids get really familiar and really confident using the same templates so that they can do it independently. So this single paragraph outline by the Writing Revolution is wonderful. We've seen great success with it. So we highly recommend that this is one of those tools that you provide all kids, all ages, for them to be able to really grow comfortable using and then use independently. If you have any questions about Unit 3, definitely feel free to email me, Kait, K-A-I-T, at redwoodliteracy.com. I'm happy to walk you through anything. These are all available for sale on our Teachers Pay Teachers store. 100% of our proceeds from our TPT store go directly towards funding student scholarships to attend our programs, so you can feel really great about your purchase. It's a double whammy win, my favorite new phrase. You get awesome lessons, your students get awesome instruction, and you're also supporting a great cause and helping students who wouldn't otherwise have access to this remediation get it. So thanks for listening, and check out our TPT store.